Kevin J. Johnston, the #1 name in the land of the North, he's risen to fame. 40 years deep in the law he's read. Now the CRA shakes in fear and dread. Stop paying tax forever, my friend. With Kevin J. Johnston, the fight doesn't end. Corporate debt, he'll make it all good. He's the man the CRA misunderstood. They vanish like mist when Kevin shows up with his legal fist. No more matching, no more lies, just clean-cut books and clear blue skies. Stop paying tax forever, my friend. With Kevin J. Johnston, the rules start to bend. The CRA can scream and shout, but Kevin knows how to throw them out. They claim they've got the final say, but Kevin proves there's a better way. He fights for truth, he fights for you, and teaches what the courts won't do. Forever today. Let Kevin J. Johnston show you the way. The expert, the rebel, the man with a plan. He's saving this nation, one client per hand. He's got 40 years of tax law knowing and corporate skills that keep cash flowing. And GST payroll all in line. He'll save your neck and every dime. He studied law, both civil crime, and makes tax code sound so sublime. With stand-up jokes and punchlines tight, he makes your seminar a night of light. Kevin J, CRA just runs away. He's the tax manslayer with a legal plan, the best-looking genius in the land. Kevin J, taking all your tax away. If the government's scared, then it's safe to say he's the hero of the North, Kevin J. 2 million women cast their vote, said Kevin's hot, that's all she wrote. The suits at CRA can't compete, he's beaten them clean without deceit. 100 mil he's saved so far, he's raising truth like a legal star. And if you think you owe the state, he'll show you how to terminate. Kevin J, CRA just runs away. He's the tax manslayer with a legal plan, the best-looking genius in the land. Kevin J, taking all your tax away. If the government's scared, then it's safe to say he's the hero of the North, Kevin J. The tax act's just a paper myth unless you work for CRA, no ifs. He buys your corp, clears every cent, then laughs while walking from the government. Restructure payroll, skip the fees, fire the tax man with graceful ease. He's winning battles in the courts each day. Soon he'll cost the feds $1 billion. Hooray! Kevin J, CRA just runs away. He's the tax manslayer with a legal plan, the best-looking genius in the land. Kevin J, Canada's freedom ray. If you're buried in tax, there's just one way. Call the hero of the North, Kevin J.
Hello, everybody. Kevin J. Johnston here. This is the Tax and Money Show that runs every single Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Time right here on freedomreport.ca. Thank you very much for being here. As I was explaining to the other social media crowds, tonight was supposed to be about corruption in Quebec, why Quebecers have to leave. The title of tonight's show was supposed to be Kill Quebec Now. Of course, I don't mean kill the province, but I do mean kill the Canada Revenue Agency, Revenue Quebec, destroy all of these institutions that are out there, destroying every single Canadian. And the kill is spelled Kiiill, which means disband. Okay? So don't get your knickers in a knot. I didn't actually inspire anybody to commit an act of violence. There we go. So tonight, instead of covering Quebec, because I'm sick as a dog, all right, and I'm going to do tonight's show as long as I possibly can. I did not have the time to do my research properly for the show over the last 3 days because I was nursing this illness, which is just bronchitis and severe sinus infection. Big deal. It's going to be gone in a few days. So I'm going to get through your questions answered again, and we'll cover the Quebec issue next week. So anybody who lives in Quebec, there's a lot of things you need to know about how to keep your money in your pocket because the Quebec government is going full Nazi on its residents completely. So I'm going to start the show off tonight with the 10 most common questions that I get about corporate purchasing. Let's just dive right into them right now. So as I've told all of you before, if you have a corporation with a vast amount of corporate debt, payroll, GST, HST, PST, lawsuits, corporate income tax, municipal fines, whatever you've got, I can buy the corporation and take the entire debt from you. But a lot of people still don't understand how that works, which I understand myself because I invented this. It took me 40 years of studying to figure out how to do this properly. So here's the questions that my team put together for me from all the emails that we get. Here we go. What does it actually mean to sell corporate debt in Canada, and how is it legally structured through a share sale? Okay, what does it mean? Sell your corporate debt. In Canada, your corporation is completely separate from you. It is its own entity. If it has debt, there's only one way for the CRA to be able to collect on that debt, and that is to go straight through the director or the directors. See, in Canada, the term director it's not a job, and it's not a responsibility. It's a ceremonial title which allows the CRA to force you to pay them on corporate debt. Now, the number one way to never have corporate debt is never do corporate taxes. All of you have corporate debt problems or personal debt problems with the CRA because you snitched on yourselves. You told the CRA what you make, and then you asked them, please tax me with those stupid tax forms, which are not something that you even have to do. So what will happen here is if you sell me your corporation, I take everything, all of the shares. I get all the assets. I get everything with it, everything. Most importantly, the debt. And then from there, if you want to buy your assets back, that's exactly what you do, which you can do the same day with me, and you'll own everything. There you go. So I buy all of the debt. It becomes mine. The CRA has to chase me. They can't chase you any longer because I am the owner. And I always want to make sure that each and every one of you out there who have these corporate debts to know that you can get rid of your corporate debt within 10 days maximum. It's done. Of course, depends how fast you get us the information, but 10 days maximum. So for Degaith, and yes, Degaith, if you want to sell me a corporation, I need you to go to my name, kevinjjohnston.biz, kevinjjohnston.biz. Give us all the information. Tim and I will call you in the morning, and we'll get that corporation off your hands as quickly as we possibly can. So that's how that works. I have to buy the whole company, not just the assets, the whole thing. And just to give you an idea of what a share sale would be as opposed to an asset sale. And here's the best example I can give you. Let's say you've got a corporation and you want to sell the company. I want to buy it. And I realize in the lobby of your office tower, there's a whole bunch of 1972 Barracudas, right? One's green, one's blue, one's black, one's silver gray. I want the cars. I even find out that the cars are in the corporation's name. All right. But at that point, you can say, well, no, the cars are part of my bonus package for selling the corporation. So the guy selling the whole corporation gets to keep the cars. I say, well, wait a minute. Nope, I want the cars. So I'm not just going to buy the assets of the entire company, not just the assets. I'm buying the whole thing, all the shares. That means the Barracudas come with it. That's the way that you have to look at a share sale. So a lot of times corporations out there will not buy entire other companies. They will buy assets. That's an asset sale. But as for myself, I'm buying the entire corporation. And then you buy back all your assets from me for 10% of the value of your entire debt. And you get to walk away from absolutely everything. Plus you get to keep your assets. Pretty good deal. Number two, how does a corporate share purchase shift all liabilities, including CRA tax debt, to the new owner? And why does this completely remove liability from the original owner? Well, like I said in question number one, there is because in the contract that we've got, there's a business sale contract. You agree to sell me the business, I agree to buy it. Then there is a share sale contract where I'm buying all the shares and everything that means. Then there's a due diligence report that has to get done. Lengthy, I'm not going to get into the full thing. Then you have to sign a contract stating what the assets are and what they're worth. Then another one where you're stepping down as the director. Then another one where I'm stepping up as the director. Then you sign an NDA, a non-disclosure agreement. You can't talk about it with anyone at any time. And that's how it's legal, is that there's a lot of contracts that go in place. The contracts were written to be 100% solid. They are absolutely bulletproof. All right. And save your questions, folks. In about 15 minutes, I'll be able to take some of them. What protections exist in Canadian corporate law that prevent the CRA or creditors from ever coming back to the original owner after a proper share sale? Oh, I don't know. Fraud charges for fraud. If you, the CRA says that someone who does not own a debt has to pay the debt and they threaten you, fraud, extortion, uttering threats, intimidation, might even be obstruction of justice. There's a whole bunch of charges in there. But Canadians got to grow some friggin' balls and get themselves a spinal cord. I'm sure there's some for sale somewhere, and fight back and actually file the charges. But in the meantime, I just jumped on the phone with the CRA saying that you're calling the old owner. It's my company now. And if you call the old owner again, I'm suing you personally for violations of the Privacy Act, because once the company belongs to me, the previous owner cannot talk about it. So I protect everybody. The CRA, you know damn well they're terrified of me. What are the most common mistakes business owners make when they try to walk away from corporate debt without using a proper share sale? Well, the question's kind of self-explanatory. If you have corporate debt and you want to walk away from a corporation, you cannot be the director for 2 full years before you walk away from it. Right. And even then, they still might try. So the idea is to never be the director of the corporation in the first place. That's right. Never be the director of a corporation. It's pointless. All they'll do is hunt you for the money in the future. A lot of people shut the business down thinking, oh, well, that's it. But the CRA are criminals, and they need to raise money for their pedo friends around the world. And of course, they're going to chase you for your money. Of course they are. They're not going to let it go. So sell it to me and it's all gone. All right. Number 5. Can you explain the difference between selling assets versus selling shares? Yep, there you go. Assets. If someone comes into your company saying, I want to buy your assets, computers, desks, chairs, client list, logo, cars, trucks, buildings, those are assets. And a lot of times they will never take over the debt. They just buy the assets. And at that point, the director of the corporation is still on the hook for all the corporate debt that was there before the asset sale took place. That's a problem. Which is why, if you are going to be selling your assets in a very large asset sale, I need to work with you and the asset purchaser and purchase the corporation from you at the exact same time that you're selling all the assets. You get the money from the assets, which is yours. I get the corporation, no debt, done. So do it smart. Make sure you're talking to me on my website. Stop contacting me on social media. I've told you all, I don't have time to read DMs in social media. Use my website. Every video that I release has my website address on it. Go there, use the contact form. Do you know what that actually does for me, everyone? Is it shows me that you're a lot more serious than everybody else out there when you take the time to listen to what I'm saying. Go to my website and use the form there, because we will look at the website. We are not looking at the DMs on social media right now. No time. Next, if a company owes payroll tax, GST, HST, or corporate income tax, how does a share sale change the CRA's ability to pursue the previous directors? It's the law. It's the law. Criminal law stops them from doing that. All you got to do is, after you sell me the corporation, if they were ever to try to contact you to pay that debt, you tell them, I sold that company to Kevin J. Johnston. You give them the phone number that I have authorized you to use. They got to call me. That's where it ends. If they call you again, you call the cops. Now, the cops in Canada are useless, but they'll still give you a report number. They call you again, call the cops again. Then contact me. We have a full-time private eye right now, and we will hunt down that individual CRA representative at their home. We will put contractors' liens on their home. We will sue them individually, and we will file criminal charges against them. But you got to be willing to go the distance. This is your life, everybody. You know, this is the problem with Canadians. I'm just going to tell you flat out. You all think that you are entitled to a comfortable, soft life, free of problems and free of conflict. And I've had a lot of Canadians look me in the eye and say, you know, Kevin, I wish I was brave like you. I'm a coward. Okay, at least they admit it. But that's not a virtue. So don't ever think that fear is a virtue. Don't ever think that your decision that you're making based off fear makes you a good individual. It doesn't. It makes you very contemptuous. It makes you horrendous, because there's nothing worse than a coward. I admire the individual out there who's afraid of heights for whatever the reason, but then chooses to live on the 20th floor and looks out the balcony every single day. They're conquering their fear. I salute that. I salute the individual who's afraid of snakes and then goes to the local pet store and puts 20 of them in their hands and inside their shirt just to beat the fear. I salute that behavior. But being fear-filled and chewing on your fingernails and making decisions based on that fear, I have no respect for that at all. You're going to lose if you do that. So that is how we deal with this, is we have to attack the CRA and be 20 times more aggressive than they are. When am I obligated to declare or pay capital gains after the sale of my rental property? Never. Why the hell would you do that? Remember last show? I showed you that if you fill out line 12,700 on the tax return, there's a 27-page followed by a 14-page followed by a 6-page form. That's like 40 pages of forms to fill out. Why would you do that? Who's paying you for your time? And you're doing all that so you can give money away? Are you like cucaracha? No, you don't ever report that. So what legal documents need to be airtight to make sure the CRA or creditors cannot pierce through and still target the old owner? Well, the contracts I wrote are absolutely solid. And the fact that it's me and the CRA can't stand me, that's also solid. So reputation, my reputation as a complete pain in the ass, absolutely precedes me. And my reputation as someone who's unpredictable, and I am, also precedes me. And here's the secret about my unpredictability. Even I don't know what I'm going to do when it comes to a set situation. I might let it go. I might break your jaw. All right? I might just film you. I'll decide at that particular moment what is going to be the best course of action. And that bothers them. They don't know how I'm going to react. Oh, you poor thing. How about this, CRA? Instead of guessing what I'm going to do next, why don't you stop breaking the law? How's that sound? Stop lying to people. How does that sound? Stop being crooked. How does that sound? Okay, so become diamond cut. I need you to go to my website right now, hit the contact form right now, copy and paste what you just said right there, put Randy's name in the subject line, and he will get back to you right away. Thank you. All right, so here we go. There's a good question. What role does timing play in a corporate purchase? So, for example, if the CRA has already sent a requirement to pay letter to frozen bank accounts, can a share sale still be effective? Absolutely. Who cares what letters the CRA has sent? You want to sell me a company and I want to buy it? They have no say. They have no say. And then I, as the corporate owner, I will sue the bank. And the banks pay. Just so you know, everyone, they always settle out of court. Always. Number 9, how do you calculate what the seller should realistically expect to recover when selling their company with debt? That's a weird question. I'll tell you why. You're selling me your debt. What are you going to recover? Nothing. You go to zero. There's no more tax, no more payroll tax, no more HST, no more GST. If you've been sued, no more lawsuits. I bought a company from a guy. He had 11 lawsuits against his corporation. 11. Now all 11 of those lawsuits are on me. And you know me, right? I'm emailing the lawyers like, hey guys, how you doing? I just bought this corporation. I got a whole bunch of paperwork everywhere. Tell me what the status is. Send me all the contracts. Send me everything. And I'm wasting their time. And eventually I'll tell them I'm going to settle out of court. And then I'm going to change my mind. Then we'll book a trial. Then I'll change my mind, and so on. They'll eventually give up. But it's not like I'm ever going to pay any of these bills. Why would I do that? Number 10, what would you say to Canadian business owners who think bankruptcy is their only option? All right. Corporate bankruptcy in Canada is an absolute myth. It's a myth. A corporate bankruptcy fails miserably. First off, you have to use a lawyer because of the stupid rules in the country, which I hate, and lawyers in Canada suck. So you've got to use a lawyer, $75,000. After about 4 or 5 years, there's no guarantee you're going to get out of any of it, and the CRA is still going to push you for the payroll debt and the GST debt. So you lose. All you're going to do with a bankruptcy is go into personal bankruptcy. And we had one of my clients came to me where, again, I don't know why you people don't know this stuff, okay? You should know. If you're getting into business, you should know how money works. The trustee that was handling the bankruptcy took all of the GST debt from the corporation and put it on my client personally because he said the corporation can't go bankrupt with GST debt. Well, what was the point of going bankrupt? The guy still owes the GST. I got to fix all that now. Don't go to trustees. Trustees are criminals. Trustees do not work for you. Trustees work for your creditors. Accountants in Canada don't work for you. They work for the CRA. Stop trusting these people. If someone says, I'm going to take debt A and put it onto debt B, which is you got to say no. Why would you do that? I'm equally critical of any of you saying, hey, Kevin, I made my first trip to Panama. I can't believe that Coca-Cola sells 3-liter Coke bottles, which they do. And then you proceed to shove it up your nose or up your ass. I would be very critical of that. I'm equally critical of all of you who let these accountants and trustees walk all over you. Why is it out there that there's a small contingent of the Canadian populace that looks at guys like me and or Chris Sky or Archer Pavlovsky or so on and state that we don't know what we're talking about because we're not working inside the bank. If it's not on the news, it's not real. And Flat Earth Realm, this is absolutely a real broadcast. You're a troll and you're out of here. There we go. We block trolls. We don't acknowledge them. Alrighty. So I've gotten through all of this. Bankruptcies don't work. The trustee is going to screw you every single time. That's why I cooked up this corporate purchasing plan that I have. It works. It absolutely works. Yes. And for those, the observant out there, yes, I have bronchitis. Yes, I've got something going on with my vocal cords tonight. And no, I don't think I'm going to make it to 2 hours tonight because I'm already in pain. So here we go. Looking more questions here. B. Uchin says, you have mentioned not to report capital gains on tax returns. I feel like the bank's advisors and exchanges automatically send all the T5s at the year end. Would that not flag an audit? First off, who gives a shit about audits? All right, who cares about audits? I think that I've been very clear for the last 2 full years straight. Auditors have no authority. They come to your front door, you tell them to get lost, you call 911. That's it, get rid of them. And if they show up with a cop saying, I want to look at your books, you look at the cops, you say, hey, you and you, both you guys, get this sack of crap off my property, do your goddamn job, get him out of here now. That is how you deal with the CRA. So if someone files T5s without your permission, sue the bank. Nobody is doing a T5 for me. And if they do, they're getting sued. Start filing freaking lawsuits, everybody. The banks are doing all this awful stuff to everyone, and you're all putting up with it. All of you are. And they're going to keep doing it until you revolt. And the revolution at this particular point with the banks doesn't have to be violent, but 1 million lawsuits would change what they do. Believe me. Can you run an apartment as an active business? Whose apartment is it? I need more clarification on the question there. Fanatic says, I've been talking to somebody on WhatsApp. I wonder if it's you for real. Hey, if you haven't heard my voice on WhatsApp answering your questions in real time, you ain't talking to me. All right. So record your voice for me. If you think, if it's me that you think you're talking to, and ask a question that a white Canadian born middle-aged guy would know who grew up in Canada with Canadian heritage. That should guide you as to what kind of questions you should ask. Because I assure you, these Nigerian scammers won't know anything about the farm leagues in Canada. You know which leagues I'm talking about. So you got to, everyone, please, I don't give my WhatsApp phone number away. You need to be a client before you get that. If you're talking to anyone on WhatsApp and they're asking you for money, it ain't me. If you're talking to people in social media DMs, it ain't me. When I DM people on social media, it's a standard answer. I'm telling you exactly what page on my website to go to. I do not ask for money in recorded voice messages. I do not ask for money in still videos. You will be speaking to me. There's also one of 3 other people in the company you'll be speaking to directly. Do not give money to anyone pretending to be me. Remember, we always talked about this. If you're talking to me in a chat room, ask me to pick something up off of my desk and show it to you. Kevin, have a sip of water. Don't mind if I do. Kevin, show us what drug you have currently on your desk. Yeah, don't mind if I do. Yeah, nasal spray. Here you go. Kevin, show us the broken pen on your desk. See, it's my favorite pen, and I broke the top of it off. That is when you're talking to me, is when I'm interacting with you. There we go. Just going to go through more of your questions here. Can you go more into debt about the sale of the company and the NDAs to the old ownership? Yes. So whenever someone sells me a corporation, they get to walk away from all of their debt because I buy all the shares. I sell them back all their assets for 10% of the value of their debt. And then the non-disclosure agreement that you sign states you can never speak to anybody, especially the CRA, about the corporation or even the deal that we've done, period. And that is why I'm telling you all that should the CRA call you after I buy your company from you, you tell them I sold the company to that racist guy, Kevin J. Johnston, and to call him. And I will give you a phone number that you must give to the CRA because they have that same phone number on file. That's how that works. So the non-disclosure agreement protects you quite well. All right, checking on more of your questions here. Director's liability for any tax at all goes away when you sell me the corporation. It's gone. It's my liability, not yours. As Bottles says, even if you sell the company, you're still responsible for the debt accumulated during the time you own the business. Absolute myth. Everybody thinks that. The CRA says that. It's absolutely not true. It is absolutely not true. Period. Remember what I told you. You sell me your corporation and they call you, we file criminal charges, extortion, uttering threats, intimidation, fraud, all the above. We will publish everything about that particular individual's personal lives, but we will do it all through legal paperwork. So here's the deal. And I know the CRA is watching. So Canada Revenue Agency employees, for all of you useless individuals, you criminals watching right now, I won't dox you in the Antifa way of doing things. I'm not just going to put flyers out saying CRA representative lives here, because that would be technically illegal. And I don't break the law. But if I sue you for $1, I can put your name and address on the lawsuit. I can put down your make and model of your car, your license plate, your body weight, your bank account information, everything to do with your family, your mom, your dad, where you grew up. I can put all of that into the lawsuit. And as soon as it gets a stamp from the courthouse, I can publish that. That's 100% legal. And I'm going to be doing it, just for the record. All you CRA people out there. We have private eyes that work for us full time now. You all thought you'd get away with this. I think that the CRA underestimated my sheer hatred of them. You have no clue, any of you, just how much disdain, contempt, and hatred I have for the entire Canadian government establishment. It is writhing. It's seething. And I can tell you this, it affects my life in a very positive way. Hatred is the number one motivator to get anything done. Forget love. No, it's not love. It's hate. Hate is remarkable. And you CRA people, I am looking for any way I possibly can find to interfere with and destroy your lives. And trust me, it's coming. It's coming. Oh yeah, one more thing, CRA. I know it bothers you immensely that I'm outside your jurisdiction. Doesn't that piss you off? Doesn't it just irritate you to no end that I have elected not to live in a communist country any longer, but still try my very best to take the communist country down? And you can't do anything about it? You know, I'm just going to say this to the Canadian government who's watching right now. I don't know what you were waiting for. A lot of people ask me every single day, Kevin, aren't you afraid that the Canadian government's going to send a hitman down to Panama? I don't know, maybe. But here's the question I've got, the counter I have. The Canadian government incarcerated me for 7 months of my life because I told you the truth about the fake pandemic nonsense. I told you the truth about bylaws not pertaining to the individual, the truth about taxes, about money, the truth about politicians. I exposed Trudeau's homosexuality back in 2017. I've done all this stuff. Why? Because why not? Someone had to do it. And for those out there who are still concerned, yeah, these are my jail slippers. These are from the Calgary Remand Center. They're bright orange. I spray painted them to make them look a bit cooler. Didn't work. Doesn't cling. I wear these with pride. I was incarcerated by the Canadian government because they didn't want me telling the truth. Now, here's the question I've got. And this is the counter question I have to everybody who asks, am I concerned about the Canadian government putting a bullet in my head? They had their chance. They had me locked up in a cage for 7 months. They knew where I lived. They knew what car I drove. They stole my car. The Canadian government did a lot of things to interfere with me. They took everything I had. I even had not one, but three excessively rotund, we'll call them, police officers in Calgary of a select group who have a very select flag. And all three of them pointed guns at me, telling me I had to stop talking about their particular little cult. It's been an ugly time in Canada. They tried to get the smile off my face. It didn't work. But am I afraid of the Canadian government putting a bullet in my head? No. They didn't even have the balls to do it when I was locked up in one of their jails. They certainly don't have the balls to try it now. Not worried at all. And I'm enjoying my life very much here, by the way. Very, very much. All right, let's get to more of your questions here. Leah says, I got reassessed for 2018, some magic debt they made up. Yeah, that's what they do. That's exactly what they do. An assessment is just them making numbers up and praying to God that you're too weak to fight them. That's what it boils down to. I mean, look, I've told the story many, many times. God bless my mother, sweet lady, but my mother did whatever the government said. Didn't matter who it was. Did not matter. She would do everything that everybody outside the household told her to do because I don't want to go to jail. I don't want conflict. I want a peaceful life. Why? That's like that stability thing. For all the ladies watching the show right now, stability, that's a sick way to think. If you want stability in life, you're mentally ill. It's not possible. Who knows what's going to happen on any given day? Tsunamis, hurricanes, lightning storms, stray bullets, gang fights outside your house, a piece of Skylab hits you in the head. There's no control that you have over anything. And being stable, do you know what that means to me? Being lazy as hell. You want a set amount of money coming in the door every week so you can spend a set amount of money every week. And at the end of every single day, sit on the couch and do nothing watching Netflix. That's really what stability means. You want to be lazy and you want someone else to pay for it. I'm sickened by women who tell me that they want stability. There's no such thing. I don't want stability. And I've actually been mocked and congratulated for how I live in my place. I'm an absolute minimalist. I have a bed, a couch, a desk, 2 chairs, computer monitor, laptop, phone, microphone. That's it. I got nothing else. I have no interest in being comfortable or stable, if you will. I don't mind ever fighting for my meals. I don't mind ever fighting for what I need to survive. That is what we're supposed to be doing as human beings, not sitting around doing nothing. Leah says, your website employee told me you can't help me with my tax problems. Leah, that might be a gross misinterpretation. What I said was, we're not taking on any more personal income tax files until January 1st. That's what we said. So we don't turn people away. Come January 1st, we're going to have an AI tax system that will do your taxes for you. AI is going to know exactly how to make it so you don't pay tax. That's what we have going on. And that's pretty much all that was said to you, I'm sure. Okay, so Fanatic from earlier in the show when I said don't talk to people on WhatsApp unless you're actually speaking to me on WhatsApp. He wanted you to start an investment. You blocked him. Excellent. There's a lot of people out there using my name. And I'm going to tell you this right now. I've told all of you how to engage with me. And if any of you allow yourselves to get ripped off by someone pretending to be me, I'm not helping you. You're on your own. That's a problem you caused, not me. My TikTok channel is real Kevin J. Johnston. That's my current one. My current Instagram is Kevin J. Johnston forever. My website is kevinjjohnston.com. My YouTube channel is Kevin J. Johnston. My Kick channel is Kevin J. Johnston. And what else do we have? I got kicked off of Facebook. I'm not even on Facebook. And that stands as of the 19th of August of 2025, which is today. I have 2 X accounts. Both of them have about 10 followers on them. And I truthfully don't even know what they are because I've hired someone to get them jazzed up. Alrighty. Apricot says, I've not done my taxes for 4 years. I owe quite a bit of taxes from a property that I sold last year. What should I do? Keep your mouth shut. That's what you do. You do not ever tell anybody about a property you sold. It's none of their business at all. Okay, so just quiet, pocket the money. I could open up a numbered corporation for you with a bank account, and you put your money into a numbered corporation, but you never put your money into a personal bank account at that point. My problem with the CRA, I did my taxes in 5 years, and they're saying I owe $3,000. Okay, there's a form on the CRA's website called the objection form. You need to object to that so that you can have an appeal. All right, there you go. Always object to everything. I don't know. I'm not on FaceTime, people. The problem is everybody wants to use some different type of chat room. There's too many of them out there. There's so much social media out there that no, I'm not on Signal. And I do not have conversations through Telegram. I don't even know how to use it. It's Telegram to me is bizarre because when I look at it every day, there's like 900,000 messages. I think they're to me, but at the same time, I don't know how to even read them. So I do not talk to people through that. If we're talking, it will be through WhatsApp or it'll be through the private chat room that we send you when you become a client. It's that simple. SES says, this is the only feed I trust. I like that. Oh, yes. Salt, guys, everyone. Cool. I'll be taking salt water tonight. I got what do you call them? The chaga mushrooms here, and I've got garlic. I'll be swishing with all that crap along with antibiotics. I will get better soon. You can never keep me down for long. X-Lady says, how do you decide which corporations to buy and which ones you don't? So far, we've only rejected one individual, and it's only because the individual was an unusual individual. That's all I can say. They were very bizarre, and we just couldn't do business with them because I think that they had something very wrong with them. I'm not going to get into the details. Yes, WW bot or Wagger, sorry. There's probably right now about 500 bots duplicating my stuff on TikTok. That's why I'm telling all of you. It's real Kevin J. Johnston on TikTok. Zipper, good question. Taxpayers could face fines of $50 per day for failing to cooperate with the CRA, says the finance minister. Well, the finance minister is a retard. Let's start with that. The finance minister does not make the laws. And the finance minister is looking for ways to make Canadians panic because Canadians, hey, every chance you've got to say no to something, you've done the exact opposite. All right, the COVID thing, that was a test. They tested you. And for 3.5 years, you failed the test. Now you've got this Nova Scotia thing, Newfoundland and New Brunswick, where you're not allowed to walk in the woods. And you're going to fall for that. And a lot of you out there believe that climate change is somehow real and that hiking will somehow save the planet. I don't know where you would get an idea like this, but you failed. So the finance minister comes out and says, you're going to get $50 fine a day if you don't answer our questions. And you're going to do what you're told. Now, somebody, maybe the JCCF will challenge that. It's completely unconstitutional. It's completely illegal to compel anyone to cooperate with you. That's called intimidation. If money's involved, it's called extortion. So, come on, think about that. Says finance minister. Remember, I was a journalist for years. All right, they always do that stupid crap in the title. The planet will be out of oxygen by 2142, says climatologist. Which one? And where did this climatologist get this from? And this guy, what does he have, a time machine where he can go forward and see what happened and then come back? And why don't they just say, we will be out of oxygen by 2142? Not comma, says someone. or my favorite, according to experts, or experts say. I'm the expert. I'm the expert in this field. So talk to me about tax and money in the CRA. It's a bluff. It's a bluff. And I know a lot of you out there are panicking about it because about 500 of you sent me the article to read. And I read it. And it's a complete and total joke. And Dan BT533, how was jail in Canada? It's god awful. I'd rather be in prison in the United States if I had to choose between the two. No, Canadian prisons, they give you about 800 calories a day. That's it. I was only like the first time I was in, it was 7 weeks, and I lost almost 45 pounds. It's pretty crazy. They just don't feed you. Is the best strategy to just not file but reply to their letters? If so, reply saying what? Yeah, well, that's a good question here, because when the CRA sends you a threat letter, they say that our records show. It's never you do owe. It's our records show, which is more bonus, balonus, bogus, bullcrap. It's nonsense. Because my records show that all of you watching this show right now owe me $20,000. All right, so what are you going to do? You going to pay me, or are you going to tell me where to go? And if I told you that you could pay that debt or get rid of the debt just by replying to my letter within 14 days, you'd send me the letter. So you send off a letter. It's real simple. I feel terrified by what you've said here. I believe you're trying to defraud me. I'm currently seeking legal counsel. I require 120 days. Do not contact me in that time. Send the letter. Just like that. You can also pay me $2,000 to do that for you. Just checking out here. What costs would one expect when engaging my services? Well, it depends which service. There's a number of things that we do here for taxes. Is it personal tax? Is it corporate tax? Are you selling me a corporation? Are we legally representing you? Are we taking over your payroll? Are we restructuring your entire company? I would need to know what you're looking to get done. Not a tax question, but considering moving to Panama from Toronto, what's a good location for a young family? Well, I guess that would depend on what's the vibe that you're looking for. I mean, if you live in Playa Blanca, that's a resort town. You can buy condos there really cheap. The kids will love it because they got the beach and they got the second biggest pool in the Western Hemisphere there. And there's food everywhere. But it's not a town. You have to actually drive 3 kilometers into the nearest town. And so it's more of just like luxury life. Then there's the town of Coronado, which there's a lot of kids there because there's a lot of gringos there, but they've all congregated in just one section of Coronado. The problem with Coronado is the undertow on the Pacific Ocean on that beach is really severe. So if you're not a powerful swimmer, it could suck you right out. You don't want that. Do not live in David. It's just a big city with no special charm. Cologne, I don't recommend that for a young family. Cologne is a really interesting town because you can eat for like $3 a day. Every meal is 75 cents to $1. It's a great town that way. The people are friendly, but it's incredibly run down. So if your kids are into adventure, great. But there's very few English speakers in David or in Cologne. Panama City, there's a lot of English speakers here, and you've got your choice of really expensive or really, really, really cheap. It depends if you like city life or not. And the other thing I would recommend would be Phuket. And Phuket is like the Banff of Panama. It's in the mountains, 65 degrees during the day, 58 degrees at night. It's right beside an extinct volcano. It's beautiful. A lot of gringos there too. So it depends on what floats your boat family-wise, what you like to do during the day. All right. We got a problem in Canada, everybody. And I'm going to have to cut this off in 10 minutes. I cannot speak anymore. So I'll take a couple of more questions. But yes, there is a problem right now in Canada with lawyers. Lawyers, if you're trusting a lawyer to do your real estate deal, your lawyer puts your money into his trust account where you can't get it unless you take a baseball bat to his knees. But he holds it and he looks to see if you've got CRA debt and credit card debt and all these debts. And he pays the debts, whether you want him to or not. Yeah, literally, he pays your debts. You didn't tell him to, and he gives you what's left over minus his fees. That's why we have a new service where we hold funds in trust for people. We're done with lawyers. We're absolutely finished with them. Apricot, you owe 100 grand in credit card debt. You're not able to pay it. Credit cards won't pull money out of your bank account unless it's a bank that's with the same bank that issued the card. They'll sue you, and your credit score will be done for 7 years on that. And then after 7 years, some debt purchasing company will try to get you to pay that in the future to the tune of maybe 200,000 or more. But you can always just walk away from credit card debt in Canada. There's no debtor's prison in the country. Greg Dell, if I'm selling my rental property, should I transfer it into a corp before selling? Is that how they can't take your money? Well, Greg, like I just said, if you utilize my holding company to hold your funds while it's all being transferred, you got nothing to worry about. All right, you're nothing at all. And I would, of course, as your tax guy, not put down the capital gain. So you let me know what you want to do on that. Hit me on my website, please. Mitch Forrest, if you want to do referrals, I would immediately ask you, shoot over to my website right now, contact form, please type in referrals in the subject line. I know that Randy's standing by right now reading that. We'll get back to you quickly on it. So yeah, what do I think of the CRA draft? Take an oath to cooperate with the CRA. Nobody can force you to take the oath. In a court of law, nobody can force you on the stand. Nobody. So if a judge can't make you testify against yourself, what would make you think the CRA can do it? So grow up, everyone. Stop fearing the crap in the news. It's all crap. All right. Welland, the city of Welland says they're shutting off my water if I don't let them change my water meter. I'm actually covering that in next week's show. They're doing that in Edmonton as well. It's ridiculous. Deeg Hafe. Yes. Why don't you give me your phone number, please, if you could? I know that on the contact form on my website, I've got my team, they watch the forms as the show is on. So put your name in there, Deeg Hafe from TikTok, and just put your phone number in the subject line. Tim and I can give you a call tomorrow. If you want to sell us a corporation, we will gladly take it off your hands. If I want to apply for disability, can you suggest a legit company to help me? I would need to know a lot more. I need more information on that question. It's very vague. What is the best province to hold an incorporated company in Canada? Should I hold an Inc. with an LLC in the USA? You can do it my way. I've got corporations in every province in Canada. All of them are owned by my American company, which is owned in turn by my Panamanian company. And I let the CRA know that if you guys want anything from me, get a court order in the Panama City courthouse. I'm still going to appeal it, but get your court order there. Okay. Cloth Studio says, can you talk about making employees into contractors? Well, if you own the business, it's your company. You do it any way you want. I mean, you could have us take over your payroll. You'll save about $5,800 per person per year, and you will never be on the hook again for source deductions. You could do that. But switching your staff over to contractors, tell your staff, go register a corporation, and invoice us. The problem with that is you got to pay them HST. So you're putting 13 points on top of the invoice. It's cheaper to keep your staff on payroll if I'm doing the payroll because I don't charge a fee for it, and you get to keep your CPP and EI corporate matching, every penny of it. Let me know what you want to do. Jay from your team contacted me by email. Is it legit? Okay, so Goran, if that's Jay, Jay, at kevinjjohnston.com, yeah, Jay's legit. Jay works for me. Jay, excuse me, Jay is someone that I've worked with for about 8 months now. So by all means, speak with Jay, but please carbon copy the email address at Kevin J. Johnston as well, just so that there's always an extra person involved in the conversation. Yeah, okay. Sia, you make a really good point. This whole thing about fear of everything. I'm going to be 54 next month. So I can tell you, here's what we were told in 1977, that we would be in an ice age before the year 2000. Time magazine, look it up for yourself. Time magazine had this picture of a New York frozen, fear-mongering. I don't know what they were thinking with this. The science didn't make any sense at all. So nobody cared. Nobody cared about this global freezing. So then they cooked up acid rain. Yeah, from all the chemicals in the air, acid rain's pouring down and killing crops and making your skin tingle and so on. It's going to kill you. Even I remember his name was Mr. Farrugia. He talked about this stupid crap all the time. He seemingly and magically was the only person on the planet who ever reported his skin burning after being rained on by acid rain. So what he was, just another dumbass that bought into all the tripe. That didn't work. So guess what, everybody? There's not going to be an ozone layer anymore. So they were telling us that chlorofluorocarbons were ripping a hole in the atmosphere and we would all die from UV radiation. They did tell us this. And then how many movies came out about no ozone layer? Highlander 2. Remember the first Highlander? Great movie. The second one, oh, there's no ozone layer. So the main character develops a shield to cover the earth. And then for some reason, this immortal guy, played by Michael Ironside, shows up to kill him. Hey, what's going on with movies? So every single time the news says something, Hollywood jumps on the bandwagon. So that didn't work. What they said was global warming is next. Yeah. So we can't have plastic bags in grocery stores anymore because somehow they are warming up the planet. So with all this fear, all these extra taxes all of you have been paying, when they said there's a pandemic, what did you all do? You masked up, you went and you got needles. And for 10 to 15 years earlier, they told you to line up for a flu shot. Go get a flu shot, they said. And you did. Now the CRA says you're going to pay $50 a day unless you answer their questions. You know, and everyone goes in a full panic mode. Come on. Hey, I forgot to mention the Cold War. You know, grade 10. Every single solitary movie they showed us had something to do with nuclear war. Every single movie made was either ozone holes or nuclear weapons going off. God, then they did pandemic movies, zombie movies. So you can buy into this crap if you want, or just focus on making money. That's all I'm focused on, and I'm having the time of my life doing it. So please, everybody, stop. Just stop with the fear. All right, so Pumpster says, Ontario initial returns. Can you explain what these are and why they need to be done? To clarify for everyone else. Sorry, 'Oh, I know what you're saying. Okay, so when you register a corporation, in the province of Ontario, they tell you that they want to know what your fiscal year end is going to be. And then they say that they want you to do your first tax return. So at that point, they say, we may dissolve the corporation if you don't do this. But they never dissolve. So don't do it. Never do a tax return with a brand new corporation. There you go. How do you sell your house without a lawyer? Well, you'd have my trust company handle your funds and just use the lawyer to change the title. That's it. That's the only thing they're good for. Can the CRA contain a compliance order from a court that directs a non-compliant taxpayer? Yes, but only in tax court. And of course, tax court's only a tribunal. So what you would do is you would let them know of your intent to appeal, and you get 30 days to put the appeal in. Then you appeal it, but you also file a motion in provincial court to tell them to back off. That's what you do. All right, there's a couple of more. Is the best strategy to operate using contract law, like filing for hefty fees, or do we go straight to the offensive with criminal charges? Sue the CRA, charge the CRA. You always want to be on the attack with those individuals. There's no time for nicety. And no matter what anybody might think out there, there is absolutely no political solution for any of the problems that we have in Canada or the United States right now. None, but especially Canada. No one's coming to save you. And even the government has told you it's going to be tough for the next 10 years. It's going to be tough for the next 50 years in Canada. The left wing have done that much damage. There's no coming back from this. So what you got to do, everybody, is recognize that sometimes you just have to quit. And with Canada, you have to quit. Leave. If you have the means, get out. Go live life somewhere else. Go where you're treated best, I think is what that nomad capitalist guy says. Do that. I am being treated like gold here in Panama. It's a remarkable place to be, especially if you are a lovely white-skinned gringo who speaks English and you smile a lot and you're good to people down here. If you're good to a Panamanian here once, they're good to you for life. They're beautiful people. So walk away. Let the country die. Let it fold. It has to go away. All the third world garbage they're bringing in is just going to end up destroying the country, and good. Rebuild the country years later. All right, just going to have a quick peek here at the rest of your questions because I am going to call it quits in a second here. How is Mexico? Undeniably expensive, and they have an extremist, far left-wing maniac president. You don't want anything to do with it right now. I left. I couldn't handle the left-wing nonsense. All right. Okay, Armas Dante says, I have an appointment with you this Thursday. I'll be getting an email with further instructions on how we're going to Zoom. Yes, you will get the link, the chat room link to come in, and just click on the link. Come on in. Just click the link right on your time, though. Don't come in early. Just come in right on your time. There's no such thing as exit tax, everybody. Could we all get that out of our heads? You do not have to make any formal declarations to anyone that you're leaving the country. I don't know why everybody thinks that, but everyone thinks that. No, it's not true. It doesn't even come close to being true. So lay off. It's all good. Okay. All right, everybody. I think that's all the questions answered that I could possibly get to. I'm so sorry. I cannot keep talking like this. I'm losing the voice completely. But I will be better by next week. That is a promise. And next week, we'll go back to the intended show for tonight, which was to talk about corruption in not only the government, but in Quebec, to inform Quebecois and also people in the Atlantic provinces and British Columbia why they need to start picking up and getting out, because we're in for some real big trouble over the next little while. So I want to say thank you, everyone, for being here. Sorry I had to cut the show off early, but we will be back full swing next week. That is something I absolutely guarantee. My name is Kevin J. Johnston. This is the Tax and Money Show that runs every single Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Time right here on freedomreport.ca. I'll see you in a week.